Hello everybody, Mr. Pilgrim here coming at you with a brand new video in our Platinum Trophy Guide for the Shadow of the Colossus remake, and this will be part 2. In the last video we had defeated the first 4 Colossi, and we had gotten an additional trophy for when we defeated the third one, but from here what we're going to do is actually, if you equip the bow, you will notice there's a very specific spot around this entrance here that you will see a lizard. Having trouble because he's probably moved by now. But anyways, you can actually, as you can see right there from the green glow, you can find the lizard. Then if you want to immediately switch to your sword. Yeah, oh, I guess that got him. Well, anyways, upon doing so, you will get the trophy, the 5-line skink, for collecting a silver lizard tail. And from here we can now move on to the Fifth Colossus and be on our way from here. Alright, but once you make it here, you will have a small little cutscene. Then we can now move on, so you'll just fall down this little hole. From here, you're basically just going to swim to this very specific area here in the middle. Makes it easier to dive by holding R2. And then from here, all you're going to end up doing is just shoot a bow or arrow at the Colossus. And it'll then proceed to try and come sweep down at you. Then from here, it's all just about going to whichever of the it'll mainly just be about going to either the wings or doing its tail first. Some people find doing its tail to be easier. Some people find doing the wings first easier, as they're the more troublesome of the two. If you happen to fall off, you can always swim back over to this area, and then eventually it'll come back to you. So I'm just going to skip to when I am now back on the Colossus, of course, as it does take some time. Alright, now that we are on the Colossus, we can now try and... Come on. just head for the tail first then, I guess. But then once that is done, you will now have to make your way back. Up to the right wing. This will probably be the most annoying part of this whole fight. Especially if something like this happens. But now we have to head to the other wing, sadly. Luckily you have some time in between. And then this should do it. There we go. And that'll be the Fifth Colossus done. And that'll get you riding the Wind Trophy. So now we're going to skip back to the shrine, and then we're going to head to the Sixth Colossus. So I'm just going to pause that and skip the cutscenes and stuff like that. So I'll see you once we're there, and then from there we're going to head to number 6. Alright guys, so I figured instead of showing you, as sometimes aggro will become very complacent and not want to follow the path that I'm trying to go, and will just slow down and it'll just take too long to do that, I figured I'd show you guys exactly where each Colossus is, just to save some time, that way you know on the map. So it'll be right here in this big area. As you'll see, there's a save shrine up on that hill. Very hard to miss when you're coming here. And you'll just end up heading down. There'll be some terrain to climb over and all that. But eventually you'll come down to this area and you will have your cutscene. But once you land and start moving, there'll be another cutscene. As soon as that happens, immediately start turning around and running. We're almost there. So from here, you're basically just going to head in here. Eventually the Colossus is going to lean down and will show us his big bushy beard. But this fight is pretty easy. once that one is done, we will now have to come over to, I believe it's left shoulder. Or is it its back? I always forget sometimes. There it is. Almost there, though. And that'll be the Sixth Colossus defeated. That'll get you the Tomb of the Giants. Like always, I'm just now going to skip back to, not skip back to the shrine, but I'm now going to skip to the Seventh Colossus, as it is going to be more towards the very top of the map. So you'll have to go across the bridge that you went to for number 2 and number 3, and then keep going all the way up, and then it'll be on the left. I, of course, will show you on the map, but I figured some simple directions might help sometimes. So I'm going to see you once I am there. Alright, now as you guys can see on the map, I've just headed all the way up and then to the left, and this will lead you to this area. Eventually you'll run past a shrine, which we will come back to that before we finish this first playthrough. So don't worry about that if you're wondering what's that all about. But from here you're just going to follow the path that I take, and we will now head down into the water. This one will probably be the first scarier Colossus to fight because of the danger of the electricity that it has. So if you feel like you need to make a manual save to get the trophy for not dying on your first playthrough, then by all means go ahead. After this one though, we will actually make a manual save. So as you'll see, there's now this Colossus roaming around, and it's got lightning. It's going to try and come up at you eventually and then hit you with the lightning, which you want to avoid. So the first thing you're going to want to try and do is have it come up out of the water. Hopefully it does that now. Yep. It will then try and, as you can see, hit you with the lightning. And you just want to make sure that you are right about here. And then you'll have to slowly but surely follow it. Hang on. This will take multiple attempts, so not exactly the easiest. But basically all you're ending up doing is trying to make it to these electric points before they hit the water, which you can do a plunging attack into to save you from possibly getting hit. As you'll see, it'll deal a lot of damage to you. As you can see, I messed up. Come on. There we go. And then eventually it'll just go underwater. It's really nothing you can do, so right now you'll just have to swim all the way back up and repeat the process until you make it all the way back to the front of the Colossus. So now I'm going to skip to that way it'll save some time. And then just like that, you will have defeated the 7th Colossus. Not too bad, and you will get the Waves of Lightning trophy. But now, I will stress this, you want to make a manual save once you respawn back at the shrine, just as a safety precaution, as the next Colossus, you're wanting to try and finish it in one go, in one phase, without it getting off of its back, which I will go into detail about. But for now, I'll make a manual save, and then I'll show you exactly where number 8 is. Alright guys, now as you can see, number 8 is just to the southeast. You'll follow the path, and then eventually there'll be a fork in the road to go left or go right. You'll want to go left, and then eventually you'll come to this little hole in the giant cliff. This will lead you to number 8. Sometimes feel like it's much easier to traverse without being on aggro, as sometimes he likes to just stop all the time, get in the way. But you'll follow this path around. And then you will finally enter into this building. You're basically going to want to have your bow out. Whoops. When you finally reach here, you will have your cutscene. Best thing I've found to do is, once you know where the Colossus is, you'll want to maybe head down a floor or two. Maybe not like that. There we go. As you want to make sure you want to be low enough, you'll basically just shoot at it, and this will cause it to eventually come up. So then what you're going to do is just run to the other side. It'll fire lightning gas up at you. As you'll see, it is slowly climbing up. Like I said, the main reason why we do the manual save is so that in case we mess up, we can retry. So then you're just going to try and hit its arm, and then hit its other corresponding arm to cause it to fall. And then from here, just going to try and get down as fast as you can. Come around to the back here. As you can see though, sadly the height was not tall enough. So in order to do it, you have to have it fall from a great enough height and then be able to get down fast enough to kill it. Like I said, if you don't feel like you are able to do that, you can always wait till you have some of the time attack items to make your life a little easier. But for now, we're going to skip to defeating the colossi. Of course, I'm going to reload and retry and see if I can get it in one go. And if I can, I will show you, of course. But I'll see you then. Alright, and as you can see, just like that, you will get the scalar of the Colosseum. And then if done correctly, you will also get the gold trophy for beating it in one go. If not, like I said, you can always just wait and retry. Reload your save or whatnot and go from there. Alright, now as you can see, I've headed up to the left, like we're going to go fight number 2 or number 3, but then taking the bridge off to the left, and you will eventually end up in this weird area with these geysers. Don't know why I like jumping off of aggro so much, but I just apparently do. Anyways, so what you'll want to do is there will be this cave that you can enter, and from here you will eventually get the cutscene. So now all you're immediately going to do is try and lure the Colossus out. He will start shooting things at you. You basically just want it to stand above one of these geysers here. It may take a bit of trying. But once you get it on top of it, you can kind of try and circle around it until this happens. And then as you'll see, the Colossus will fall onto its side. You should have enough time to make it to the other side. and be about right here by the time it starts rolling over. This should allow you to basically stay on it. Whew, that was close. And then from here you'll just have to follow the path around. And then you'll head up its spine. But then eventually you will make it to the destined spot, and then it'll be another easy fight. One more shot should do it. And that'll be the 9th Colossus defeated. We will do one more in this video, but that will get you the Lurker of the Cave trophy. And now I'm going to skip to number 10. Number 10 is almost in the same direction as number 9, except you'll have to keep heading a little more west, and then eventually you will find it. Like always, I will show you on the map. Alright, and as you guys can see, the path that I had taken to get to where we are, eventually you'll end up at this massive cave. You will need the use of aggro for this fight, as it is impossible to do it without, at least from my experience. Anyways, you'll head inside. Come on. Come on. And eventually you'll find this massive open cave area. So basically all you're mainly going to be doing is, while running away, wherever he might be. There he is. You'll eventually see that there will be this time you'll have to shoot his eye. It can be a little difficult on horseback. Probably one of, like I said, the more difficult fights. Aggro, what we doing here? As you can see though, a bit troublesome trying to fight and steer and all that. But eventually, once you can, you will eventually get a shot on its eye. Come on. once you eventually do, it'll crash into a wall or some of the giant stone pillars around the map. This one was kind of always a pain for me. Maybe I can get something going finally. Nope, that's just the pillar. We'll eventually get it, guys. We'll eventually get it. There we go. And then once that happens, you're basically just going to switch to your sword. That's not what I wanted. But eventually it'll crash. But you will have to do this 2 times, so now I'm more or less going to switch to when I defeat the Colossus, as, like you've seen, I'm not the best at this, so I'm going to try and shorten this fight as much as I can. But alright, once you do that, you get the Mystery in the Sand trophy for defeating the 10th Colossus. But that'll do it for the second video in this trophy guide, as I kind of already have a set layout that I want to follow. But like always, you will be stabbed by the dark tentacles and will be transported back to the shrine. So I will see you all in the next video.